This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is.
I had asked you to debate one of them flat Earth guys.
No, I don't. I can't. No.
I know. We talked about it, and we were going to have him on Skype.
No, that is something that should not be debated. Does not belong in front of an audience getting debated.
Only 64% are convinced that the world is a ball. The world is a circle. That the world is a spheroid? Only 64% are convinced that the world is a ball.
So why didn't I flinch? Because the laws of science differ fundamentally from those of...
We know the Earth is not flat.
We don't. It's flat.
Basically, it seems like unless you're indoctrinated enough, or unless you've been brought into the secret societies and told the truth anyway, that you're not going to get into the higher echelons of this kind of stuff anyway. So, people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, he knows the Earth is flat and motionless. He's a Freemason, and he's doing a job, an acting job, where he propagates this deception onto you guys. And the high-level dinosaur people, it's the same thing. They know that dinosaurs don't exist. But the bones, supposedly the real bones, are kept locked away, but they just give you plaster of Paris. If there were real bones, you could put them behind, solid, bulletproof glass, whatever you want, but show us the real thing. No, they can't do that.
But they show us petrified wood. I mean, lunar rocks.
That's right, which have now come out to be fake, right? These moon rocks that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin gave to museums around the world have now been scrutinized and found to be just petrified wood that they've dug up somewhere. So, yeah, these things, they've been exposed as complete hoaxes, but the public is still being duped by things like museum displays of fake bones and whatnot to make us believe that we evolved from giant reptiles. So what dinosaurs do for the evolutionists is they provide the stepping stone from lizards and fish and non-flying things to flying lizards and then reptiles turning into mammals. See, they've got these links in the supposed evolutionary chain that they don't have fake answers for, so they've had to come up with them along the way. And so, they say that the Big Bang happened and everything came from nothing for no reason due to gravity, their God. And then all of this explosion, which, unlike most explosions which destroy things, this explosion created things. It created everything somehow out of nothing. So it's a creationary explosion. And then all this debris, which came out of nowhere and nothing. And now, what is this debris? What is it? It's the lighter elements, I guess. Hydrogen, helium. Okay, whatever. And then somehow they become greater elements and bigger, heavier elements. And they start spinning around and they become these planetoids, lifeless. Oh, but then somehow water forms, the elements come together, and somehow with an intricate, meandering of these elements, consciousness and life and intelligence somehow comes into play. Oh, and now there's living organisms, and then somehow they reproduce. Oh, there was two of them, and they had sex somehow. They just simultaneously manifested, I guess, and now sexual reproduction started happening, and then the species started changing.
And they had two males that reproduce. How is that?
Right. How is there two of anything? How is there one of anything? They can't explain that, but they just skip over that in one sentence in your textbook and hope that you don't ask questions. Oh, and okay, so then it's multicellular organisms, and then it's a fish, say, in the water somehow. Okay, now we're up to fish now. And then the fish somehow crawl up onto land, and they don't die like every fish you've ever seen that jumps out of the water. Somehow it lives. It transitions its gills into lungs. It mates. Somehow the offspring live, and then the offspring have magically mutated into air-breathing fish-like amphibians now. And then the amphibians turn into reptiles, and then we got to get them flying. Okay, that's where the dinosaurs start coming in. We got a flying pterodon, pterodactyl, terrorist. We like that word, terra. Terra means earth, the earth that we lie about. So it's a flying dinosaur. And then they got dinosaurs that supposedly had feathers that they're trying to convince you of. Feathers that fossilized 65 million years ago, and now we have proof that dinosaurs were the evolutionary link to feathered birds. Again, these have been exposed as hoaxes if you look into them. I won't get into it here. But then, suddenly, a meteorite comes. And what does the meteorite do besides reinforcing their bullshit spinning ball infinite universe? It does away with all of these supposed dinosaurs that existed. And cockroaches and frogs and other lizards and all the other stuff that's still alive today, those were able to survive the meteor. But somehow all those big, giant, ridiculous lizards that would topple under their own weight and whose bones couldn't possibly support their massive structures, those all went away. Except for some bones, which paleontologists find, not normal people, not everyday people tripping over them for thousands and thousands of years, but just interested parties for the past 150 years, the first dinosaur bone discovered shortly after the idea of evolution was introduced. So it's just a convenient, these supposed transitional forms, dinosaurs, the ape man, human man, all this stuff. This is just what they need to make their evolution idea seem plausible. And they fabricate the supposed evidence for you to make you believe in it. But when you look into the actual physical evidence that exists for these supposed transitional forms, or the history of the adaptation of species, has there ever been a species that turns into another species? Macroevolution? No. It's never happened. They have no proof of it. Microevolution, minor adaptations within species? Sure. But this is what they're trying to turn into macroevolution of everything that exists evolving from everything else that did exist, evolving from nothing and a big bang. So they get you to believe that the amazing connectivity, beauty, diversity of nature and the natural world, the intelligence, everything around you somehow came from nothing for no reason and out of an explosion that created it, and then it just like evolved for no reason to have consciousness, life, and intelligence and have all this order and beauty and diversity that we have just by coincidence. It's random. Yeah, it just happened. So what does this do? It's a nihilistic, atheistic cosmology that makes you a speck of dust. It makes God irrelevant. It makes him impossible. It makes you a purposeless, meaningless accident of an explosion that just happened to be now. So how would you live? How would you live your life when you believe that kind of cosmology? Well, it's all about me. Nothing really matters, so I might as well just have a good time, do what I want with my life, consume, which is exactly the way society is set up, and the way that the people who control society and who have fed you this myth for centuries anyway, that's what they want. And that's why you behave this way and think this way. And that's why you scoff at people that know that they were intelligently designed by an intelligent designer. That's why you scoff at people that know that we're on a flat, motionless Earth. And you laugh your hearty spinning ball earther laugh where you think that you know something because you've seen CGI pictures and you believe that that guy Neil deGrasse Holt Tyson.
That's the unknowable majesty of space. At the greatest possible distance we can conceive. The outer limits of our imagination is just the beginning. That's why the stars are just fireflies stuck up on that bluish black thing. The f did I just say?
Why lie about the shape of the Earth? It just seems irrelevant. But imagine if you are a real forward-thinking psychopath and you want to create a new worldview for your subjects. Where do you start? What's the first big lie that you have to tell everyone so that you can totally control their worldview and become their authority figure, because you know things that they don't know, that they can't access about reality, that you've figured out and it's been established. And they just have to trust you now. Well, obviously, cosmology, the Earth, and everything beyond us, in the sky, above and below, So if you're going to fashion a worldview for your subjects beneath you, and the whole point is to lie to them so that you can gain control over them, the first, the biggest, the most fundamental, foundational lie you need to tell is this one. People have just been under the spell for so long that they can't even see, why would you lie about this thing, the shape of the earth? It seems so irrelevant. It's not. It's incredibly relevant. If you're going to... So imagine if you took somebody captive since childhood, put them in a box, and all they knew was whatever you told them from their box. They'd never get outside, know anything about the outside world. You get to feed them all information about what's outside the box. Well, that's literally what is happening to us, like you said, with the Antarctic Treaty, with NASA telling us what is out in outer space above us. Oh, it's millions and billions and trillions of miles. Oh, okay. And so then we get in our imaginations like they are making us do, rather than be physical explorers like we can and should do. And then we'd actually find answers. But we don't have that kind of thinking because we've been given these pseudo answers and placated and thinking we know things that we don't know. And so that is what the controllers have doing, and why they're doing it is because this fundamentally makes you think you know things that you don't know. So then you grow this ego inside of you, and you start defending the people that lied to you because they are the purveyors and explorers who found out all this knowledge that you just believe because you haven't actually figured it out for yourself. And when a flat earther comes around and is skeptical, you just think, how could you possibly be skeptical about something that has been so established? And you only think it's been established because so many people have believed it for so long. And there are many pseudo explanations that are offered over and over again that people have believed for so long. If you delve into it deeper than that, that's when you get to the meat of it. But most people are satisfied by that surface level stuff, and so you can't really break through to it, and they'll just give you questions like, but why would they lie about the shape of the earth, as a defense mechanism more so than an actual question. They don't really want to know the answer. They're asking you the question because they think it's a way to shut you up, because it's such a ridiculous, whatever you say, however you answer that, it's going to be ridiculous to them. Oh, to control us for money, whatever you say, they'll scoff at it. And of course, the question is kind of like a setup too, because how could you know why someone else is lying? You're not the liar. Ask them. Why would you ask me? So the whole question, in essence, you're asking the wrong person anyway, and so you can't answer it to their satisfaction. It's kind of a trap.
Some people claim there is no motive for such a grand-scale deception, and that flat or ball makes no difference. By removing Earth from the motionless center of the universe, these Masons have moved us physically and metaphysically from a place of supreme importance to one of complete nihilistic indifference. If the Earth is the center of the universe, then the ideas of God, creation, and a purpose for human existence are resplendent. But if the Earth is just one of billions of planets revolving around billions of stars and billions of galaxies, then the ideas of God, creation, and a specific purpose for Earth and human existence become highly implausible. By surreptitiously indoctrinating us into their scientific materialist sun worship, not only do we lose faith in anything beyond the material, we gain absolute faith in materiality, superficiality, status, selfishness, hedonism, and consumerism. If there's no God and everyone's just an accident, then all that really matters is me, me, me. They've turned Madonna, the mother of God, into a material girl living in a material world. Their rich, powerful corporations with slick sun cult logos sell us idols to worship, slowly taking over the world while we tacitly believe their science, vote for their politicians, buy their products, listen to their music and watch their movies, sacrificing our souls at the altar of materialism. This foundational belief that we all live on a spinning ball Earth makes way for our big government god to be worshipped as a false idol, then forced into paying tribute to that very system that keeps us all unknowingly brainwashed. Led to believe, from schools, that intelligence rests upon accepting, absorbing, and regurgitating information presented, confirming successful programming installation. So brainwashed, trusting, and dependent upon our educational systems, parents, being products of that same system, eagerly offer up their children's minds for programming shortly after their arrival on Earth, with the message, to resist is not only futile, but insane. The population is harshly punished into submission until accepting the programming one way or the other. The opposite truth is you're left with two choices. You can be true to yourself, ask questions, find real answers, and break free from your programming, spread the truth about Earth far and wide at the risk of being ostracized, knowing that when attempts to expose the flat Earth to programmed, controlled minds are made, they'll vehemently resist. Programmed so well to know what they think they know as undeniable truth about the Earth, Moon, stars, and Sun, that even if they could question their programming, they're unable to see any benefit for them to do so because they're perfectly happy in experiencing comfort and contentment while unknowingly on a path to extinction. Or, 2. You can be true to yourself, ask questions, find real answers, and break free from your programming. Seek out truth and meaning of our existence for yourself only, sharing with a select few that may be ready and or deserving enough to begin to be deprogrammed, knowing that those who walk amongst you are mostly, hopelessly, brainwashed, with many doomed to ultimate life's failure, and living your life, continuing to seek paths to the truth about our Earth and Creator, while being a creator yourself by having as many children as you can support, teaching them to rise above all the lies, distractions, and temptations of consumer gluttony. I guess one of the biggest dilemmas is what, when, and how do you tell your children? When and if you hopefully seek out the truth about the very ground we walk on? Do you tell your children all of what they're learning in school is BS, and while attending school to do it in a mode of suspension of disbelief? Do you withdraw them from school to homeschool them, knowing it will not prepare them for the world of deception we live in? Do you advise them to listen even more carefully in absorbing the programming entirely, and maybe, just maybe, they can become an astronaut, if they have the right stuff, selected for a possible upcoming mission to Mars, for a starring acting role, playing the part of a pathological liar? Do you flat out tell them the flat out truth about our flat Earth, and that they have been under mind control, with everything they have been told, have learned, and will be taught are lies intent on keeping them from reproducing? Will they even believe you? That, my friends, is all up to you to handle and figure out. It brings tears to my eyes that life is nothing like we have been led to believe. Those in control of our minds have convinced us that we all live on a painting of a spinning ball. It's been said, the bigger the lie, the easier it is to believe. Sadly, believing the biggest lie ever told in all of human history has resulted in the masses' total loss of control of their mind, body, and spirit, a loss so complete that many will never even realize they have lost it.
I'll show you light now. It burns forever.
Why does it matter? How does it change my life? I still have to go to work in the morning. So why does it even matter? I don't really care either way. So now suddenly, it doesn't matter to their life if the entire world has been lied to about something as fundamental as where we are for the entirety of humanity for centuries, duped about literally the most fundamental truth possible. And these people are like, yeah, but why does it matter? What does it even matter? How does that change my life at all? If the fact that you and everyone you know has believed the biggest lie in history doesn't matter to you or change your life, what does that say about you and your life? What is important to you then? How could the truth not be important?
I had asked you to debate one of them flat earth guys.
No, I can't, no.
Kill the programming.
that stuff is flat.